They are unbeaten in the Premier League under Liam Rosenior. Burnley travelled to Stamford Bridge on the back of an FA Cup defeat to Mansfield Town. Steve Wilson's your commentator.
Teams put the opposition to bed. The best teams are ruthless when they have the upper hand in games. And if you're not ruthless, then what you have to do is make sure you keep a clean sheet. It's not enough clean sheets. And that's something we need to address for us to really maximise the potential of this club.
Overall today, I can't be nothing but proud of the team. Brilliant result for us, and I think overall our general performance today was first class. Straight off the training ground in terms of how we free up that space, and obviously freed up Flem. It's a brilliant header, first class set play. You know, it's on the money every time with James.
The situation is what it is. I think we've got 11 games left. It's not over, and it's not over till it's over. And even though the gap is big, as long as it's possible, we go for this, I don't know, for this hopefully beautiful football story that everyone, definitely in Burnley, is going to remember.
A good point for Burnley. Chelsea having real problems at Stamford Bridge this season. You can see the number of points there. They've dropped from winning positions. 17. That's the whole season so far. Liam Rosenior quite critical in our interview. He's even more critical in his Sky interview, Micah. He said their defending was unacceptable. They didn't do enough basic values of defending set pieces, and there were players on the pitch who didn't do their jobs.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think there was...
It's hard,
yeah, it was harsh, but it was truthful, because on corners, it wasn't great at all. And the setup here, Chelsea have actually got 10 versus 5 because Burnley leave 3 just on the edge of the box. So Worrell and Fleming, who were outstanding for Burnley, but James and Caicedo are supposed to be tracking their runs, or at least blocking. All it takes is one simple movement. Now there's a space there to go and attack the ball. That is too easy. That's after 7 minutes in the game. And they got away with it. Ugochukwu with the follow-up there. So here's a goal here. You see, we've got him there circled saying, no, don't go short to Ugochukwu. Get it in the box. Chelsea are now down to 10 men, but they still have the advantage 9 versus 5 because the Burnley set up again outside. There's Fleming and there is Worrell. This time it's Santos and Caicedo. If you're not as strong and physical as someone, can you get a blocking? Can you stop the run? It only takes one movement to go round the back, and here is where they concede the goal. Absolute fantastic header from Fleming.
But that's simple, is it?
But that is too simple because you've got the overload. People are going to say, OK, Chelsea was down to 10 men, but just look at Santos's position here. They're pointing at each other. Look how easy this is for Burnley to get through. As we roll it on here, he's not even looking. He's not even looking. And he's cost his team a goal. A wonderful heading from Fleming. Let's not take anything away from Burnley. And then they could have lost it. Again now, they go a little bit closer. They thought, OK, let's get closer to Worrell and Fleming. But now Brun Larsen's got all this space in the middle of the field, which could cost them. And these are the things that could cost them in the Champions League. And why it's so frustrating to see this, chappers, because all this takes is leadership, organisation. If Burnley would have broke Chelsea down and play and use the extra man, you could say, hands up, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But on a set piece where you've got an overload and you're not doing the basics correctly, it's just not good enough.
And look, it isn't just the defenders there who aren't doing the basics correctly. Micah highlighted Santos as a midfielder there. But he is constantly changing his back four in the Premier League. They haven't had the same back four in successive games. Surely that's where you start, isn't it? As a manager, as a coach, with a settled back four, if you can?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's happened all season. This was happening with the previous manager. And I think Chelsea, they've got that many players, and to juggle the players round, you don't know if there's pressure coming from above to do that. But to be successful and to be challenging to win trophies, you need to have your back four in place, your probably 2 midfielders and your forward and goalkeeper. If you don't have that in place, then it's very difficult to find that consistency to go and challenge or put yourself in a good position.
Well, he's still trying to find his best back four, isn't he? And them words after the game were pretty harsh to the players, but he's been very direct and he knows he won't stand for that.
You just don't know who's the leader in there. Who's going to lead in that back four? Because you look at all the defenders, they're quite similar in how they play, and I don't see a standout leader.
Important to say, though, Burnley deserved their point. They've got 4 out of 6 now in their last 2 games, both away from home. And maybe away from home suits them a little bit better at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. I thought in that first half, obviously, they rode the luck a little bit. I thought Chelsea could have maybe scored at the second or the third, but once that didn't happen, the ascendancy with them, then the red card come. And they had 6 crosses in that last sort of part of the game and created a lot of chances. So, yeah, maybe unlucky not to win it in the end.
Next, third place, Aston Villa.
Dressing room, especially with Wesley, because he might feel that he's cost his team.
No, that wasn't on Wesley. That was on our performance. From the first goal, felt we lacked incision when we had control. I want incision. I want us to create wave after wave of attack. We were too safe in our possession. And when you give any team, a 1-goal advantage, anything can happen. The red card happens, you're down to 10 men. We knew their biggest threat with Ward-Prowse on the pitch was set plays. We went as big as we possibly could because that was the only way they could score with 10 men. We still don't see it out. I think the frustration is more the last 2 home games, from being in winning positions and being in control of the game to not win the 2 games. That's the biggest frustration. It's not a blame on an individual.
Does there have to be an inquest, because that's a common theme, not just during your time?
No, I can't. I've said this before. I've been asked this before. I will never ever speak about what's happened before me. What has happened with me is we have set fire to 4 points from 2 home games, which anyone watching the game, it's not good enough for a club of this level. It's not good enough for me to come and say we were the better team. We need to be the better team in every game. We need to win games of football. And I know what the answer is, and we will address it in the week. There's an inquest after every game, whether we win or lose. But I'm learning about the players. I'm learning about the people you can lean on when things aren't going your way and you need to see a game out. And that's something we need to address very quickly.
Sam? Liam, you said to TV that certain people were assigned to jobs on the pitch and they weren't doing them. Was that about the goal? Was that about, or just the general play?
No, I felt the general play. I felt the second half performance was actually miles better than the first half performance, even though we were 1-0 up at half time. Up until the red card, I felt it was wave after wave of attack. We didn't make the right decision for the moments that we created, and we didn't finish off the game when we should have. And when you don't do that, you leave yourself open. But there's too many instances, even in, and I'll be honest, in my time here, Wolves away, Crystal Palace away, Leeds at home today, where we've conceded goals from moments of lack of concentration, lack of accountability. And if we want to maximise the potential, which I know is there, we have to address that very quickly.
You've said a number of times this is a young squad and a young group of players, but following all the drop points, all the red cards, do you feel that there needs to be a little bit more cooler heads and addition, sort of like leadership in this?
I think youth is one thing, accountability is another. I'm accountable. I'm the head coach, I'm a manager of the team. I'm accountable for every result and every performance we have. We need to have players who you can rely on in the moment to do their job. Set plays are massive in the Premier League. They're so important. Our record this season defending set plays is not to the level which is required for us to achieve what we want to achieve, and that's something I need to address.
Peter?
Liam, is it a mindset yet? I know you said you don't want to talk about what's happened before, but
No, I don't want to talk. It's not fair for me to talk about what it was my job.
What you saw today?
Yeah. I think there are certain values that you need to have in your team. The best teams, the teams that win titles, which is where we want to get to, they win games 1-0 when they probably haven't had the best performance. That should have been at least a 1-0 today. Even with 10 men for 25 minutes, that should have been a 1-0 at the least. I know what we need to get there. It's not down to youth. It's down to assessing the players and assessing the ones you can rely on in the difficult moments.
Jack?
Liam, you've spoken a couple of times there about working out the players you can lean on or rely on. Have you got enough of those?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah, for sure.
And in terms of the sending off, you've said before you've never fined a player or anything like that. Do you think you'll need to change your approach?
No. No. Our discipline since I've come in, which is what, again, I will only speak on, it's been very good. He's been very good. That was an unfortunate red card for Wes. He stepped in on a challenge. I felt there was something that could have been dealt with better before that happened by the referee and went unnoticed. But you're going to get red cards. There's too many. There's too many for sure. But in my time with the group, I think our disciplinary record has been very good up to now.
And on the mentality aspect, just when the corner was conceded, Andre put a tackle in to stop their attack and then celebrated that tackle conceding the corner. Is that the sort of thing you want to see?
Yeah, I do. I like players who enjoy defending, but the reality is we didn't do the next part well enough. I felt the only way Burnley were going to score in that moment was from a Ward-Prowse set play. I've tried to go as big as possible. Reece was stretching and I wanted to make sure I protected him. Pedro Neto was stretching, I needed to protect him. We had enough on the pitch to deal with that moment and we didn't, and it's cost us 2 more points.
Dom? Liam, you just said in your broadcast interview that you feel like you're learning very quickly about your team. What did you learn today? Because it felt like you already knew about Chelsea's maybe propensity to switch off and lose concentration, because you learned that against Leeds. So what's new did you learn today?
I've learned, and in our record in the Premier League is we've played 6, we've won 4, we've drawn 2. I've learned I've got a good team, but I learned for us to maximise the potential of this group, which is very high. We need players who in key moments can see things through and make sure they make the right professional decisions.
And are you able to give an update at all on James and maybe also Esteval as well?
On Reece?
Yeah,
Reece, it was just honestly, he's so important to us as the captain, as the world-class player that he is. Any sign of fatigue with him, I want to get him off the pitch. I need him for Arsenal. He should be absolutely fine. And with Esteval, we're doing our assessments and scans on him now.
Sam?
Just on that goal, you said a couple of times now you had tall players on it. Have you looked at it again? Because you seem to come from nowhere. So what was the thinking in defence?
An assignment was missed. And